Hey, this is Stuart and welcome back to the third video in this video series where today we're going to be going further into this idea of being able to earn income around your interests. And in this video, we're actually going to be talking about selling your own products, and we're also going to be talking about selling physical products. Now, before I show you some real examples and some case studies of products that we're marketing or I've marketed myself and some ideas to share with you, I just want to share a perspective with you. Now, one of the things that I see all the time, especially in today's televised entrepreneurial world, where we're talking about shows like Dragon's Den here in the UK, and I think you've got Shark Tank in the US, and similar programs in Canada and Australia, is one of the things you always see is the entrepreneurs, and they're in their chairs judging. These entrepreneurs that are coming in all intimidated with their ideas of, taking over the world with their new business venture. And one of the things that we often see is them being shot down because their idea is rubbish, or it's not good enough, it's not unique enough. What patent do you have? What's stopping people from being able to copy you? And often you see these entrepreneurs kind of like shrinking down, tail between their legs, leaving without investment.
Manish, you're an get the out of here. Oh!
And I want to say this to you, is in today's world, you absolutely can succeed without being an inventor, without having some sort of patent, without having a completely original idea. And you can absolutely succeed without investment and without somebody offering you hundreds of thousands to back you and your idea. And one of the problems I do have with these types of shows, I do enjoy them, I've got to admit, but one of the problems I do have is I often think, how many people don't pursue their dreams or aspirations of maybe starting a business because they're intimidated by this idea that they have to be so unique or an inventor or have a patent or have capital that's being invested behind them. What I've seen over the years with so many of our students is it's really those that know how to market most effectively that win. It's very rarely the individuals who have this crazy invention or unique idea or patent or any of those types of things. And so what I want to do in this video is just provide inspiration to you, is in how it really is possible to earn income around your interests. Now, I actually want to start off by sharing a bit of a recent story with you where I'm mentoring one of my younger siblings. And I said to him, when you reach 20, I'm going to help you get a product launched, and we'll do something together, we'll work on it together, and we'll take it from there. And we're right in the process of it right now. Now, one of our shared interests, he's 16 years younger than me, but one of our shared interests is cars. Like me, he's really into his cars, and one of the things that's really spurring him on in this entrepreneurial journey is so that he can go out and buy his dream car someday. And so we decided that was a shared interest, and that was something that we were going to work on. Now, recently, I went through the process of purchasing a new car. It was through Porsche, and one of the things that never ceases to amaze me is the amount of extras and add-ons and upsells that they actually have. I mean, you're talking like hundreds, if not thousands of dollars or pounds or euros for some of the smallest little extras that you can do. And one of the things that they're offering now with across the Porsche range is keys that are actually color-coded and matched to your car, which I thought, that's quite a cool idea. The price? Well, to get your key color-coded to your car is an upsell of £248 to be precise, and that's actually the minimum, depending on what you go for. Comes with a little leather pouch and that kind of thing. And let me just show you what we're talking about here by giving you a real-world example. So when you actually purchase a Porsche, they very generously give you a lovely box here, photo of the car. And this is actually how the key arrives. And this is the default, standard, boring old key. I mean, how on earth do you get by with such a boring key? Well, you can see here, this car, it's actually called Agate Grey. And if you wanted to match the key to this color code, you would pay Porsche about £250, 300 odd bucks. Now, me being me, I decided to see what aftermarket options are available and sort of what opportunity there may be. And I pursued this idea with my brother, and we decided this is a venture that we're going to do to get him started on his entrepreneurial journey. Now, if I actually fiddle with this key, it is somewhat of a fiddle, so do bear with me. If you've, oh, there we go. Pull out the battery like this. You can see the battery there. I can actually pop these sides off and replace them. See if I can get into this one. Replace them with my own custom colours. Quite cool though, you've got to admit. Key that's the shape of a car. Anyway, what do I have here? What goodies do I have to show you here? Well, first of all, let me show you, this is the key I actually use. Now this here is a plastic carbon fibre. It's not real carbon fibre. And one of the things that I was doing with my younger brother was showing him how, there's different markets for different quality grades of products. And, this is all the stuff that we talk about in our training series. And I said, look, what we're going to do is we're going to look at two quality types of products. So this is a plastic carbon replacement here. And then here we've ordered in some true carbon fibre. See if I can get this out. And this is actually, if you can see, well, actually, let's compare. This is real carbon fibre. This is just a plastic sort of carbon fibre imitation. Now, to pop these on, it really is as simple. Once they come in their nice little box, you would just pop them onto the key and you're ready to go. There we have gone from a plain old boring, oh, that way around, plain old boring one to carbon fibre. And we're going to talk about this in a little bit more detail in a moment, because it's actually probably more important than you think. Whether you're thinking this is a crazy idea, who on earth would spend money on their key, really doesn't matter. That's actually what we're going to get into. Now, some other options we've been exploring in is, here's some chrome options. Again, this is a low quality chrome option. We're still waiting on some samples of some higher quality chrome, but here's a chrome option, again in a cheap old box here. And we'll talk about some pricing in a minute. A couple of other examples. Here I've got a gloss black. So rather than the sort of matte grey that it comes with, oh no, that's the carbon one, rather than the kind of matte grey, we've got a gloss black here. I've also got a colour match to the colour of the car, which is called Agate Grey. And this is what Porsche would normally recommend customers do, is match their keys with their car. So that would be, and that way around, that would be the grey option, which would actually match, if you can see here, actually match the colour of the car. And through research, this again, I can't stress enough, something that we teach, I could see that there was good demand for this type of product. Now, here's what I want to share with you. This is all around finding things that are actually interesting to you. There are going to be people watching this workshop thinking, who on earth would spend any money to change the key for their car? There'll be people thinking, who on earth would spend, silly amounts of money on any vehicle? It's a vehicle to get you from A to B. And I want to suggest to you, this is a little bit like watching these programs on TV. It's other people's opinions. It's other people's views. So many people don't pursue business because they're looking for permission, or they're looking for people around them to say, what an amazing idea. Yet with today's world, when you can go out and you can do keyword research, demand research, you can very quickly identify whether there's actually a demand for your idea or not. And it's often these micro niches. This isn't just auto, this is actually is niched in as specific to a brand, being Porsche, as specific as a niche idea of a key cover. Yet, this is the idea that we're pursuing to get my younger sibling started in his journey of entrepreneurship. And this is a very, very similar process what we do with our courses. We get our students really learning the process first. Now, I can tell you now, this isn't going to be his multi-million-dollar venture. This is going to be the starting block. Maybe retire him from his letting career, get him to a position where he's got that appetite for pursuing the journey. Often people say to me all the time, like, I want to make $1 million. That's my goal. I want to make $1 million. And, my advice is always the same. Have you made your first $100 without a job? Because if you haven't, that's where you need to start. Make that first $100 and do it around something that you're actually interested in. Don't just do a means to an end idea, like just pick a random product. What are you enthusiastic about? You see, I can sit down mentoring my younger brother, actually passionate about all this. Why? Because I'm actually an absolute enthusiast of Porsche. Now, the auto trade, or the car industry, is an interest of mine. I appreciate nice cars. You know, I've owned Aston Martins, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Porsches. Porsche is an actual passion of mine. You know, you will catch me watching Porsche on YouTube for hours on end sometimes on a Sunday afternoon, going through all the vloggers' videos and watching other enthusiasts. And, you know, my girlfriend's thinking, how the hell can he watch this rubbish? Yeah, I'm sat there thinking, well, what on earth is this Kardashian crap all about? You know, we all have our own ideas and interests and things that we're enthusiastic about. And so this will go on to be a successful venture, because I know for sure that there's other enthusiasts out there that maybe don't buy their cars brand new, yet they want to match their keys. Or maybe they wrap their car and they want to match their key with the new color they've gone with their car. There are other nutters out there, in other words, that have these tiny sort of enthusiastic ideas around things as silly as a car key. Now, we're going to move on from the car keys, and we're going to come back to this in a moment and start talking about, you know, pricing and ideas and that kind of stuff. Now, here's actually a case study of a product that we did in one of our courses. Magnetic eyelashes. What on earth are they, you say? Again, so through our niche research and the way that we teach people to spot opportunity, we identified that this is kind of a new thing. Women don't want to fiddle around with glue in their eyes, you know, trying to get their eyelashes on every morning, and then the gunk and having to get them off and all the rest of it. And so what we have here is actually magnetic eyelashes. Now, with magnetic eyelashes, you basically get 4 eyelashes. One goes on the top of the eyelash, one goes underneath, and the magnets connect. And voila, as if by magic, you have beautiful eyelashes. You can probably see I have mine on right now. Not really, but maybe we'll put some on later. Now again, imagine if, or maybe it is, you were enthusiastic about the beauty space, the beauty niche, makeup. You know, think about the amount of women who follow people on Instagram, Pinterest, you know, read certain blogs, purchase their makeup online. There's a whole realm of ways that you can position a fairly unique product. Again, this wasn't invented by us. This was actually something that we recognized was selling well online. And we tapped into by sourcing these products, which we're going to get into a lot more detail in a moment. I'm going to be talking to you all about how you get your hands on this type of stuff. So magnetic eyelashes. Now, I mentioned in the previous video, I actually have a charity. It's called Victoria's Promise, and one of the things that we recently put together, again through research, was a beautiful hamper. It's a box hamper where people can purchase that hamper as a gift for when they're going through the really challenging time of going in to meet a family or relative or a friend after the diagnosis of cancer. The reason my family and I launched our charity for Victoria's Promise was after the loss of my cousin at just 29 years old. And I think we can all relate to these things that happen through life, where we realise that, you know what, life is short and we'd quite like to have an impact. Well, this is just another example product here. It's a journal, something that we recognise that people often like to give as a present. And this is actually one of our logos with the crosses, the kisses. And again, we sourced this, which I'll talk about how we did that earlier. And it's a very easy process to actually source this type of product. Here's another example of one of our students in the academy that's just started doing very well with selling a solution to a problem that they were facing in their own garden. Here we have a mosquito killer lamp, okay? And so this actually works as a lamp. It can hang from the top of your table and chairs or your gazebo, and you zap it on and zap, 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 takes out the mosquitoes. Very, very low cost product here. I'll maybe get into that if we get time in a moment. But again, selling in really good volumes online, and such a, great little idea, yet they didn't invent it. One more idea for you on this particular. So here we have a drone. Now this is made by DJI. DJI drones are probably, in my opinion, by far the best drones in the market. This is the Mavic Air. It's seen as a portable drone. In case you don't know what I'm talking about with drones, aerial photography, these are the ones that you fold them out, they take off, and you can do video and photography, and they're amazing fun. It's an absolute brilliant boys' toy, although a lot of girls enjoy them as well. But I actually have multiple drones. Now, a cousin of mine who is in our community as well, John, he actually is an enthusiastic and is interested in flying drones, but he wasn't going to compete with DJI. He wasn't going to probably come out with a drone that would compete. But what he does supply is the propellers, which people often have to replace. And so he is now selling propellers, spare propellers, online through Amazon to people that need to replace this item on their drone. Now, as you can start to see, there really are endless amounts of ways that you can think of a product when you start to really just think about your own interests, the things that you're doing in your own life. I said this in yesterday's video, just like walking around your house, there's so many different ideas. One of our students is, through the process of learning what we do here, is now selling product photography boxes. These are lighting boxes. Again, they're coming in from a source that I'll talk to you about in a moment, where you place the product into the box, and then it makes it absolutely perfect for taking pictures and doing product photography, etc. And so, again, successfully selling that as an idea online. Why? One of his interests is photography. And so he saw that as a brilliant opportunity. Now, one of the things that people struggle with most usually is, well, how on earth do you get started with this kind of thing? I wouldn't know where to start to get a product. You want to get some color-coded key panels for your key. Where does this all start? That is what we're going to get into right now. So let's jump on. I'm going to be on the screen. You'll be able to see behind me a website that we're heading over to right now. So this is a website you'll want to pay attention to if you've not heard of it before, and it's called Alibaba.com. Now, this is an amazing way to do research and to find products and get an idea of what costs you're looking at for any ideas you may have. Now, I'm going to show you a couple of examples here. So first of all, let's go over and do a search for the Porsche key cover. So straight away, after doing a search for Porsche key cover, I can see different types of ideas here, as you can see on the screen. Now, you'll see here, here's a gold one. This looks like it's a full cover over the full key. You'll see here we have a pinky coloured one. I think I'm going a bit colourblind here. Here we have white. Keep scrolling through and you'll just see more and more ideas. Now, what is Alibaba, you ask? Well, Alibaba is very simply a wholesale website that is run in China, and it enables you to reach out to contacts of wholesalers and get quotes and pricing for you to be able to purchase wholesale goods directly from manufacturers. Now, I want to be really straight with you here. Typically speaking, what you're talking about when you're dealing with these people, and you're going to want to remember this, when you're dealing with the people on the side of these websites, on the other end of these websites, is you're normally talking about some kind of broker or middleman between the manufacturers and through you. And they're nearly always looking to mark up the products, and often quite significantly. And so very rarely are you getting the best price on websites like Alibaba, but we've solved that problem. You don't need to worry about that. I'll talk about that in a moment. But it's an amazing website for doing research. Now, what I found, and actually it was my mentor that really sort of explained how the process works, is quite often the people you're dealing with are actually nephews or cousins or brothers or sisters of, the uncle that runs the manufacturer, or, they are often quite closely related to the people that are, running the sort of show behind the scenes. But business is business, and there will typically be a markup. And what we found is sometimes you're talking 2, 3, 4 times the cost when you actually go through something like Alibaba. However, as I said before, it's an amazing way to do research. So straight away, within just a quick search, I'm seeing what sort of prices are involved here. So here we have a key remote case shell for the smart Porsche key. You see here, they're saying $27.50 with a minimum of 5 pieces, okay? If we look down here, we've got green and we can see the kind of box it comes in. Again, here we're looking at $4 a key set, $4 US, and that's in this green color. Let's open it up, see if we can see a bit more. And chances are that this supplier will have other colors as well. And so this is an immediate way, without you having to delay any further, to just explore some ideas you might have. Now, the reality is that the art of being successful in today's world online is less around, as I said, coming up with some sort of crazy unique idea. And it's much more about things like getting the best price, but more important than anything else, knowing how to market and sell effectively. Nothing is more important than your ability to market and sell. And so with us, there's really 2 areas we focus on when it comes to really providing that next level of service to our students. Courses are courses. You know, there are a lot of good courses that are out there, learning things like affiliate marketing, learning things like e-commerce. What tends to lack is quality resources. And so with us, what we focus on is making sure we're providing you with the exact resources that we're actually utilizing ourselves. So as an example, we actually have offices out in China. We set up our company there, Sourceful Group. And we have our own agents who are based out in China. They're on our payroll, we look after them. And their job is to look after our community and our clients when it comes to taking their idea and going out and sourcing direct from the factories exactly what it is that they're after, whether it's key covers, whether it's blades, propellers for a drone, whether it's an item like a mosquito zapper or any other idea. Our manager, our head over there running the office, Mark, is absolutely phenomenal. We fly out to China multiple times a year. We're hanging out with Mark. We often take students out with us. Recently, we've been running a fully paid, all-inclusive, all expenses paid trip. We first had Andrea come out, and she's building a yoga line of products. She won after entering a challenge that we set, a competition, and came out to China with us. The following couple that came out, they actually won the competition in the kitchenware space, and they were selling an avocado peeler or cutter, avocado peeler. Oh, here they are. Almost walked past. Hi guys, how are you getting on?
Yeah, good, how are you?
Good. Yeah, good. Have we got an example of some of the stuff you're looking at?
It's one of the battery charger that comes with the wireless charger,
Oh wow.
and that has an indicator LED.
Oh, I've not actually seen that. So that's actually a wireless charger on a portable.
Yeah, on a pod.
Oh, that's really cool. Maybe take a few samples and you can start selling them on the plane on the way back. Again, their passion was around cooking. Andrea's passion was around yoga. Followed something that is a genuine interest, won the competition, came out to China, met Mark, met our teams out there, and now have access to all of these resources that we do provide for all of our students. So how does the process work? Well, let's say you have an idea and it's like, I want to provide key covers. The first step is as simple as going onto a website such as Alibaba and doing some research. Is it quite easy to see that there are existing products that match what you're looking to market and possibly sell online? The next phase is then, do you want to do any customization? You know, is there any changes you want to make? Do you want to make some unique colors, different colors? Do you want to actually put some branding, come up with your own brand? And once you've made those decisions, it's a case of getting straight in touch. And if you're doing it with us, with our Sourceful group, who are actually going to go out and make sure that they smash the types of costs that you're seeing wholesale online by going direct, not only to the manufacturers, but also negotiating. So again, I've got to reiterate, think about this from your own perspective. Just an idea, sending a very simple request through our platform saying, this is the type of product I'm looking for. Here's a link to the website that can give you some ideas. This is the type of target price I've got. Can you come back and tell me what's available? They're going to come and give you a minimum order quote. They're going to tell you what sort of pricing you're looking at, how much it's actually going to cost you to ship those goods in. And then from there, you're going to be following our programs, learning exactly how to sell them online through platforms like Amazon and eBay. are great starting points, but also creating your own web store through maybe WooCommerce or through stores like Shopify. Again, if none of this means anything to you right now, that's what we've got you covered on. We show you start to finish. This isn't a course, this is so much more. It's mentoring, coaching, resources, should you pursue this journey. Now, what I want to do before we wrap up is give you another example of a product that I'm working on, which again is around one of my own personal interests, but it's a higher ticket item this time. It's a more expensive item. So one of my interests is e-biking. And yes, I do mountain bike as well. E-bikes are often seen as being the lazy biker's option. There's really a couple of things that's amazing about e-bikes, in my opinion. One is they're great for commuting. You know, when they're nice sunny days, which we do actually get here in the UK sometimes, there's nothing nicer than being out in the open and getting a bit of exercise and fresh air. But sometimes those hills are a little bit intimidating. You know, you want to get down to dinner without sweating, or you want to go and do a bit of shopping without, you know, being overheated from climbing, you know, these massive hills. And with e-bikes, you get a great boost. But also, other e-bikes that are now starting to become, you know, very popular are these sort of bigger e-bikes. I'll show you an example here. This is a couple of the bikes that I'm actually working with right now, making some tweaks and changes. But I've got two because I'm taking one out. I've got one of my friends coming out, and I'm actually working with one of our manufacturers out in China so that I can start selling e-bikes. Now, I want to talk you through the process again. So first of all, I actually chose an e-bike that I wanted to purchase full retail. I bought it through an American company. They've got offices in Europe, and they shipped me this particular e-bike, and I've had a lot of fun, a lot of use out of it, and it's a very enjoyable type of bike. Now, something that we're seeing a lot of, and you're going to see a lot more of this over the next decade, is where a lot of businesses are advertising now that they are direct to consumer. Okay, now simply what that means is they're not using retailers, they're not using stores, they're not using distributors to sell their products. They're actually selling directly to the consumer. And the advantage of that is that businesses are able to sell their products for a lot lower cost. You know, they're able to sell them lower than a wholesaler that's selling to a retailer, and then the retailer's doing their markup and everything else. And it can be huge. You know, 750 watt e-bike, to give you an idea, you could easily pay $4,000 or $5,000 for, whereas direct-to-consumer e-bike companies might charge you $1,500 or $2,000 for pretty much the same type of bike with the same type of power and components. So you're kind of talking half price. And so that's why we're seeing more and more businesses coming up that are direct-to-consumer. Now, the good news is this is creating huge opportunity for people like me and you, people that actually want to sell products direct to consumer, because we're in an internet world where we can actually reach our consumers using online mediums. Now, I want to walk you through what I did. So after using a bike that I had for quite some time and loving it, literally loving it, it became from an interest of mine to more of a passion, something that I'm telling my friends about, I'm talking about. And so what I did is I reached out to Sourceful Group, our offices out in China, and I said, here's the exact bike that I've got. These are the components that are on the bike. Can you go out and source? Well, our agent out there, Mark in this particular case, he actually found the exact manufacturer that are developing and building the bikes that I'm already using. Now, the advantage of that is I don't need to reinvent the wheel, excuse the pun. I don't have to, you know, be an engineer. I don't have to understand brushless motors and all of that stuff. All I need to do is be specific as in terms of what colors I want. I did some changes like the saddle posts, made some other sort of design changes. And I've had the quote come back, landed, and I'm going to talk you through it. So here's actually the email from Mark. Here's a quote for the bike that you asked me to source. The good news is we succeeded to reduce the minimum order quantity, that's MOQ, to 30 units. So the first thing I want you to know here is I'm able to start an e-bike company with just 30 bikes. Okay, so I'm not having to order thousands or sign a contract with a manufacturer to commit to years and exclusivity to working with them like you once would. I'm able to start this little e-bike company. Again, I'm doing this with some family to get this business up and running. Now, before I show you the price per unit, again, let's go back to Alibaba. I'm going to type in 750 watt e-bike, and I'm going to search for something that's very close or similar to the type of bike that I'm actually sourcing myself. So it might take me a moment to look through. Okay, here we go. So this is very, very close. It's got the same brand of tires, it's got the same battery power, it's got the same disc brakes and components. Very, very similar. In fact, you'll recognize this probably a lot from the B-roll that we're showing you on the bikes that I have. Now here you'll see 1 to 9 pieces, $2,780 for 1 to 9 pieces. If I order 10 to 49 pieces, $2,500 per piece. 50 to 99, it goes down to 2,300. 100 pieces, it goes down to 2,170. So the good news here is I could start an e-bike company with 1 to 9 pieces, 2,780. Now, my goal was 30 bikes. That's what I said to Mark. That was the goal, the number of bikes I wanted to get. This is almost identical. This might come from the same factory that we're working with, I don't know. Now, if I go back to my quote here, Sourceful Group, this is our offices out in China, electric bike, $538 by going direct to the factory. $538 with an order of 30 bikes. And you'll see here with express air delivery, which is the fastest type of delivery rather than shipping or putting them on a container, $7,850, which may sound like a lot, but having run the numbers with that type of cost of $538, my plan is actually to sell these e-bikes for between £1,000 and £1,500. That's a little bit more in euros, closer to $2,000. And that is the cost that people would be buying wholesale. Because as I said, a lot of these types of bikes are selling for like $4,000, $5,000. So not only will I be able to win in marketing these bikes based on my knowledge of digital marketing and how to market effectively online, and I've done some really cool design ideas, I'm going to be able to win on price. So again, it all comes down to resources, contacts, having people out in China. That's why I go out to China twice a year for our community, so that we can build the relationships, grow the offices, connect people. And I want to go back to this whole point of direct to consumer. One of the biggest opportunities in the physical products world right now is doing direct to consumer products. Now, there's really two most common ways that people are selling their products online. The first one, let's use this as an example, is the likes of Amazon.com. What a lot of people don't realize is that Amazon.com are actually selling private business owners, individual business owners, products on Amazon. A lot of people think Amazon, it's all their own products, and similar to, Walmart and these, superstores and that kind of thing, is that it's their products and it's their distribution, etc. Well, no. Amazon are actually selling products. Now, the advantage of that is, let's say you've got a product idea, you can list it with Amazon. They've already got customers on there searching for the types of products that you may be wanting to sell. And so you can start selling units on Amazon. And one of our community members recently launched a product, and they've been selling over 100 units a day from within 24 hours of listing that particular product. 100 units a day by just listing it with Amazon. Now, of course, they followed our training. They did the listing the right way. And I'm not going to say that's a typical result to sort of knock it out the park that way. But there's a lot of advantages with using the likes of Amazon. Same with eBay. There are people that know eBay, they go on eBay. A lot of people use eBay for brand new products these days. It's no longer just an auction for, used products. But actually, I believe the greatest future is in creating your own brand and creating your own stores with the likes of technology like Shopify or WooCommerce, where it's very, very straightforward these days to have your own website and set up your own brand. And as I said, do direct to consumer. People love a deal, there's no doubt about it. But if you can actually double or triple your prices and still sell direct to consumer, massive opportunity. And I'm going to be honest with you, that's why we're seeing these stores closing down. The Toys R Us of the world that have been around for decades, they're struggling to compete. Now, a lot of people at first are very nervous about that. People are losing jobs, the world is changing, everyone's buying through Amazon and online. But I want you to understand this. It's lack of information that makes people scared of this stuff. Because yes, okay, Toys R Us may be going out of business, a brand that we've known for years, but they're actually going out of business because rather than people relying on jobs working for Toys R Us, they're setting up their own businesses and they're selling toys direct to consumer or through Amazon or through eBay. And they're evolving and being up to date with time. And mark my words on this, the way the world is going now is it's less huge, big companies And it's more about individuals not having to trade time for money and working in a store and commuting, but actually profiting from their interests, selling their own products, which are as good a quality and in many instances a higher quality than what you get in these stores. And as I've already said, you know, for these department stores and offline stores to thrive, they've got to innovate. And the ones that don't innovate, like Toys R Us, they will close, they will lose their shirts. So there's enough room for everybody is what I want to put across. So much negativity in today's world, yet so few people understand things like affiliate marketing, understand that you can actually sell products through Amazon, understanding the process of actually sourcing products is very straightforward these days. And it's just my hope that this video serves nothing but inspiration for you to think you can absolutely do this. It's far more straightforward than what most people think. And the final words I want to say is if you've got kids or you've got a larger family, think about being a resource to them as you get educated in this space. Like I'm doing with my brother and I've done with cousins and siblings and everything else. Imagine being able to be a mentor to the people that matter to you, helping them navigate their way from traditional economy to digital economy, because you actually took the insight to learn and to not just read the newspapers and watch the news or get sucked into Dragon's Den and Shark Tank and think it's for the few, and realize that it is an entrepreneurial world, it's a digital world. And do you know what? There is more opportunity than there ever has been to thrive. And that's why we do what we do, to help you make that transition. Can't wait to see you in the next video where we're going to be talking about the website side and digital marketing and really wrap this up. And you know, if you're ready to get started, it all starts with our introductory course, the system of selling online. Everything comes around the system of selling online. You can have the greatest idea, a unique product, a product that's already selling well. If you don't know the system of selling online, you're going to struggle. If you've got any product, any idea, you want to do affiliate marketing, the system of selling online will change the game for you. And you get that with our introductory course. I'll see you in the next video very soon. Take care.